Something we talk about a lot on this channel is adding different strategies and refining yourself a little bit in order to become the optimal performance machine that you possibly can be. But what's the flip side of that? Okay, because I obviously always want the best for anybody who comes across these videos. So what about asking yourself one specific question of what incredibly stupid thing do you do on a regular basis that is detrimental to the goals that you wish to achieve? Okay, what about removing harmful practices, removing harmful things from your life? Where's the significance in that? Where's the importance on that? Well, that's what we're going to be discussing here today via Negativa, the study of what not to do. Exactly, because there's also an old saying when it comes to business. It's not about who you fire that will be the end of your business, that will be detrimental to its overall performance. It's who you do not fire. Okay, and you can extrapolate that to mean and to be applied to many other things in life, most notably to your own personal habits. When thinking about how to improve something, most people instinctively focus on what can be added or changed. When you want to improve your life, you ask, what new habits can I add? You want to improve your business? Ask, what processes need to be changed, adopted, streamlined, made more efficient? Obviously, if you want to be smarter, what new knowledge can I acquire? If you want to grow your faith, what good deeds or discipline must I perform? But one important rule of thumb that people have come to rely on, that most complex problems are easily solved in backwards. Okay, instead of asking what can be added or changed and bring about improvements, start looking to see what can be removed or avoided. In theology and philosophy, words are hard when there's like a dozen different popular scientific endeavors that start with a PHI, so my mistake. And approach is often called via negativa, or by way of removal. I think that's Latin. I think it's a study of what not to do, the path of subtraction. Exactly. Via negativa has several advantages. It's often much easier to see what's wrong than what is right. Exactly. You could extrapolate that out further as to why it's easier to normally criticize something than criticize and provide a solution to that, because you know something is bad. Okay, if your vehicle starts to make a really troubling noise, you know, okay, something's wrong with my vehicle, but you don't know necessarily what it is. Okay, so it's always easier to tear something down than to build it back up. So common sense information there. So let's see how you can extrapolate that out. In the complex environment, all seemingly good additions can have unforeseen consequences. It is often easier to predict what will happen by way of removal. Most people spend a lot of time thinking about what to add, so chances are high that you can find some low-hanging fruit by simply asking what can be removed. For example, you can remove your health, or you can improve your health, sorry, you don't want to remove your health, that would be foolish, by removing daily soft drinks from your diet. Exactly. Very, very easy to think about things in your diet that you can remove. You don't have to replace them with anything because, oh yes, I drink a lot of coffee, so I'm just going to take up drinking beer. This is not a smart thing to do. How about just getting rid of colored beverages to begin with? Water's pretty tasty. I don't know about you, but I'm going to indulge in some right now. Or you can make your home more inviting without spending a dime by removing clutter. Yep, I did that not that long ago, because just off to my monitor and my camera, whenever I look off to the side to quote or look at some books or see some media on the walls, I got bookcases that are just absolutely jammed up with movies that I appreciate, albums that I enjoy listening to, books I like to read. But it used to be just a very big hodgepodge of everything I've collected over the years, and I was never really one to have a extensive collection of anything, mostly because being a slave to material goods just doesn't really seem that great. I've got a couple of things that I'm rather fond of, but outside of that, if everything just kind of exploded one day, I'd just be sad about my computer, obviously, for very obvious reasons, and monitor I'm looking at every day, same thing. But outside of my signed Baltimore Ravens championship helmet, and that's about it. That's really about it. If everything else just exploded, I'd just be, you know what, totally fine with it and move on from it. But just cleaning up what used to be just an overwhelming amount of video games that I haven't played in a long time, or movies that I just don't watch anymore, and just cleaning that all up, making it a little bit more presentable. Nothing's hanging over, nothing's jam-packed. It just adds to a already small room, makes it appear just a little bit larger. So that it does work, okay? A lot of what we call being successful is simply showing up and avoiding the big mistakes that even smart people make. Yes, you can be too busy looking at the trees to see the forest around you. There's an enormous upside to simply not overspending your income or becoming unreliable because of your perfectionism or procrastination. Removing things from your life allows you to focus on what is most important. And what is that? Removing things from your life also gives you free options. Yup, for example, you can take advantage of the neighbor's last-minute offer to dinner by simply leaving more margins in your days and weeks. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a good thing, but it also harkens back to another discipline that I hold very, very closely, where discipline equals freedom. You know what you're going to be doing every single day, okay? You know relatively how much time you need to afford to everything that you do. Therefore, you have more free time, okay? Then you might have a hobby that you want to get a little bit better at. Then you're going to have that free time. You can schedule it out there and you can apply that to it every single day. All you got to do is just know that staying up late is going to be detrimental to your performance for the next day. So maybe not do that. Have a set wake up time every day and adhere to that within about 5 minutes of when your alarm goes off. Lately, for the past month, I've been very good at waking up within 5 minutes of my alarm going off, making up my bed, getting ready to meet the day. It was slipping for a little while, but made that little bit of a change, and I feel like my performance has been getting better on camera, on video, but for other reasons, the head's just been a little bit out of it lately. So this is just the channel where I just mostly express my desired goals for the world, and hopefully acquire and maybe shed off some unneeded baggage. Hence the article we have. So subtractive additions. That sounds like an oxymoron, but what are some things that you can get rid of in order to streamline your life? Perfectionism. Instead of letting the false need to be perfect results slow you down, try an experiment where you give yourself a certain amount of time to make a decision and go with it. Yeah, that's why I always finish every video with follow your gut, get after it. I almost forgot my own catchphrase. Jeez. No, because if you follow your heart, it's normally led me in bad directions. So if I was to give you advice on that, that would be silly. And follow your head, you can get stuck in your head for days and days and days trying to just walk down different logical paths, hitting different forks, assessing the left, assessing the right, and then following it, and then just continuing to go down. But you know, whenever you're faced with a decision, whenever you're faced with something, you get that feeling right down there in your gut, and you get a yes or a no feeling right away. And you know what? That one right there, that one hasn't served me wrong. So just going with that, seeing where that leaves, I would recommend that. Clutter. Yes, instead of organizing your house and your stuff, try reducing the amount of it. There's a lot of stuff, okay? It's kind of the old axiom where if you haven't used it in the past, 2 years, 3 years, whatever you want to say, the likelihood that you're going to be using it again is extremely low. So somebody else could use it. You could run a garage sale. You could make a couple of $100 really if you were just taking a look and having an honest assessment of what you wear, the little trinkets you've acquired along the way. If they don't hold any sentimental value, what's the point of holding on to them, okay? Because I had a whole bunch of different video game collector's items, which was just kind of nerd speak for wasted money, and so many of those statues got pitched out over the past couple of years. I had an entire collection of them. I had Kratos, I had the Assassin's Creed figures that were out there. I had a bunch of cool ones, but yeah, they're out in the trash. I don't really care about those anymore. I've got the things that I like, but outside of that, they're just knickknacks, and they looked really pathetic. So consider it, because I'm much more pleased with the things that I do have. Let's just put it that way. Puts more emphasis on the things that you do keep, because maybe they have a sentimental value, and then they can be properly on display instead of just some cheap Chinese plastic that was built in the forge and several thousand other people have them. Distraction. Instead of searching for new productivity tips, start by removing the major sources of distraction from your life. Yes. Okay. The whole idea of multitasking, that's a myth, my dudes. Okay. Listen. You can either give 100% of your attention, 90% of your attention if you really have to go to the washroom or something. If you focus directly on what you're supposed to be doing, instead of giving 70% of your attention on one thing, 70% on another, okay, you divide it even further. Okay, 50%'s over here, something's over there. And then you do everything extremely slowly, but hey, you're multitasking, so it looks like you're doing a lot, but you're accomplishing very little, okay? There's something to be said for maximizing for dead time, like if you have something that is just purely on a timer. Like when it comes to making YouTube videos, things have to get rendered whenever they're edited, so there is considerable downtime. So that's when I make my thumbnails, that's when I do my metadata crap, and I do all that stuff while the video's rendering. So as soon as it's done, it can just go straight up there. I can finish doing the rest of that stuff. There's a thing to be said about not holding on to a phone, okay? When I'm editing, yeah, there's music that can be played. There's podcasts I can catch up on. But as soon as it's time to start typing, as soon as it's starting to get into that groove, it's just 100% focus on the task at hand. It gets done to perfection, and then you just move right on. New knowledge. Okay, this seems like addition, but let's just see. Instead of reading another self-help book or blog, this one included, try writing down 5 things you learned over the past year and spend the next year simply trying to master those. Just simply get good. Procrastination. No, that's actually pretty good advice, okay? Instead of trying to become an expert in astrology and then picking up a book that you find really interesting on biology. Okay, and then you want to learn a little bit more about cars, and then okay, maybe you're really interested in Major League Baseball. You see, your attention is just getting pulled in 1,000 different directions. There's something to be said about not focusing directly on something, and escapism, well, I do kind of cast a little bit of a slanted glare at it from time to time. There is something to be said about deprogramming, decompressing by just enjoying with a set amount of time, but you should set that amount of time that you allot to yourself for relaxation and recovery. It's important, but don't just allow it to balloon into this unmanageable state where you're spending more time relaxing than you are doing something productive, because downtime is dead time and you don't get that time back. Procrastination. I had to give this up a long time ago. I can't even remember the last time I knew I needed to do something, and if I had the means and the ability to go and accomplish it, I would just go do it. There's no putting things off. It's like, oh, we need to go do something later. Can we do it now? No, let's do it now. If we can do it now, let's get it done, so that if something better does come up, if something more important, if something more pressing does come up that you want to do or that you need to do, if an emergency comes up, guess what? Everything has already been taken care of. That's the reason number one, because my most important thing that I do every single day is exercise. That's why as soon as I wake up, everything is in preparation for that exercise. I get those miles in, I get that lift in. There's no procrastination that happens. Procrastination is the worst thing you can do to yourself. Instead of searching for more time in your day or some secret to life that other people seem to possess, find a way to remove the source of procrastination and do the real thing. Exactly what I just laid out to all y'all out there. Habits, okay? Instead of looking for new habits to your lifestyle, start by removing the bad ones first. No kidding. You eat late at night? Stop doing that, okay? 2 hours before bed. No less, maybe more if you want to. Depends on what you want to do with your meal timing, whatever your eating windows are, okay? But 2 hours before bed. Outside of that, then you just start to mess with your circadian rhythms, and that's bad for a multitude of reasons that we've covered in other videos. A diet. Yes, instead of trying a new fad diet, simply eat less. Just simply don't be hungry. No. The things you know are the worst for you. Bags and boxes, my friends. Bags and boxes. Just yeet them out. Another approach might be to occasionally fast from certain indulgences for a period of time. Having one cheat day a week. How about that? It's sometimes easier to be totally on or totally off. Exactly. Because if you start getting anxious for that cheat day, if you start just fantasizing about having cookies one day a week and it starts to just override your system, it might just be easier to just full stop, okay? Say that you're done being a cookie eater, okay? That sounds a lot more derogatory than I intended it to, but you're just not somebody who does that anymore, and you can make that change like that. Work. Yes. Instead of adding another meeting, project, or idea, look for inefficiencies in the current system that can be removed or addressed. Yeah, just streamlining your processes so that you have more time to do more good things for you. Finances. Instead of making a couple of complicated budget to flow, kind of like sentences, they're very hard to do. Start with your current spending and look at a few areas where you can reduce your spending. Repeat this as often as desired. Exactly. And fasting. I think we need to, it's about that time to start doing a fasting video, because I'm a big fan of this. I participate one meal a day after I'm done posting all of my videos, posting all of the metadata, getting all of that happy crap out of the way, and then after that, that's when I eat, okay? Because if I need to record anything, the best way that I perform on camera in front of the microphone is on an empty stomach, okay? For reasons that we'll explain in a future video. My metabolism is very fat adapted, okay? I run on ketones whenever I fast, and I fast once a week, okay? One full day a week, about a 40, 42, 46, somewhere in that hour window. No eating whatsoever, just a little bit of water and a non-fast breaking pre-workout. That's all I'll have, okay? Right now, I'm smack dab in the middle of it, and what would that be, about 22 hours, I think, for me right now? By time of recording, it's like, it really doesn't matter. It's 5 to 6, so depends on what time this gets posted. So I'll either be really close to breaking my fast, which would put it at about 46 or 48 hours, something like that. And there's plenty of benefits to that. But again, that's another topic for another time. I'm just saying that there are many, many benefits of fasting, whether it's longevity purposes or anti-aging purposes, or it's just strictly a weight loss project. Use as desired. Instead of adding new pleasures and entertainment from your life as a defense against boredom, try temporary fast from something you enjoy in order to remove or to renew your appreciation. Or it could just be for entertainment processes, and I just went on a big long diet ramble for my own personal efficacy. Chemicals. Instead of adding new products in your life with the goal of being healthier, consider what you can simply remove can simply be removed with any downside at all. That's why I tell everybody to read the ingredient list, okay? If you can't pronounce it, why would you want it in your body? If it has X's and Z's and alls and ers, do you really want it? If you can't define what it does, if you don't know what it is, not something you want to be eating. And then again, now they wrap it up here. In a nutshell, Via Negativa is just another application of the practice of simple living. Live like a monk, my dudes. There are many ways to simplify your life and benefit from that timeless, foolproof way to help yourself and those around you. Best of all, the practice of simple living focuses you to pare down and decide what's most important to you. It pushes you towards more living from intentionally through a series of choices that you end up making. You'll find out very, very quickly, okay, that you do a lot of excess garbage that doesn't need your attention. And as soon as you realize that, the quicker you can make your life more efficient, and then maybe you'll find some time for those oft neglected skills that could one day pay off for you if you just gave it a little bit more attention. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.